Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here, folks, and I apologize. Did not realize I was on here. Welcome back to what I believe is going to be a pretty solid match here. We have Heidelberg versus... I'm not sure, actually. Penn State Behrend. Sorry there, folks. Heidelberg versus Penn State Behrend. And we have up first for Heidelberg, we have D-Dog playing as Pyro Mithra. As it's a pretty even matchup so far in terms of percentage here, folks. But this could go either or. As we see D-Dog here putting on some pretty nice moves here as he gets off a heavy hit there. Oh, and for those of you at home who don't remember the rules here for this match, basic. Oh, you can hear some chanting there, folks. But for those of you at home, each team has a total of 12 stocks at the moment, and basically the goal is to, by the end, if you run out of stocks, you lose. So for this round, each of the fighters have like 3 stocks. For example, when D-Dog knocked out Penn State Behrend's player there, they lost a stock. So they have essentially 3 stocks for per player. So if they get knocked out, they're out. And the other team, like for Heidelberg, like if D-Dog wins this matchup, he'll stay in until he gets knocked out. So that's basically how it rolls. So you keep going until until your team runs out of stocks, and you can't play anymore. And whoever has the most stocks or doesn't have 0, will take home the win there, folks. As we see D-Dog there with a nice down smash there. Penn State player has a high percentage, meaning that if D-Dog gets off a solid hit, and speaking of solid hit, he gets one right there. Folks, if you are in the red zone here, well, you're gonna get sent off. And D-Dog gets sent out there. Now it's tied. It is currently 10-10 tied. This can go to anyone here. This can go to either D-Dog or a Kira 144 team. We'll see who takes it here. Or Hollis. As we see them kind of slow down their fight, but at the same time make it quick. And D-Dog there goes for a pretty fast attack there. Goes from his light to heavy, and I believe it's switched to the character that can do some serious heavy damage. Looking to do a good hit here to try and end this match off on a good note here. Coolest there is putting on some decent moves here, making D-Dog in the red, but also evening it out. Putting Hollis there in the red zone as well. D-Dog going for those heavy hits. Like I said before, one good hit and he could be out of there as he gets a good hit. But unfortunately, D-Dog gets out there, folks, making that Heidelberg is only down by 1, meaning that Penn State Behrend is taking this one. Folks, we will be right back. back here, ladies and gentlemen, and and for those of you who don't know what's happening, it is Heidelberg versus Penn State Behrend, and currently Heidelberg is only down by 1 stock here, and like I said, it's gonna be like I said at the beginning, it's gonna be a pretty solid match, as Sam only has to get a good hit off here in order to end this round and tie up the stock score here. So let's see if Sam Joe for Heidelberg can pull it off as we get the match underway. As Sam going with the more range fighter. Unlike the last match, if you were watching the first match with D-Dog, who went for more of a close range fighter, Paulatina, you can be up close range, as you just see that little move that Sam did there. But in this case, she's more of a long range type of person, so you can go up close, but you want to pick your battles and you want to make sure that your timing is on point here. And Sam knows what he's doing. He's shown it time and time again with his match performance. As we see Sam honestly putting in some great work here with another close range attack. Oh, Carlos is low, and he's out of there. Ladies and gentlemen, that will tie up the stock score 9-9 with Heidelberg and Penn State Behrend tied. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and apologies there, folks, as we have Heidelberg versus Penn State Behrend, and we see that we have Sam here for Heidelberg playing as Paulatina, and we have Herbert Crab for Penn State Behrend playing as Pikachu with, I believe, a little festive party hat is what I'm going to assume that is, or a birthday hat, as we see this match get underway. We see Pikachu, Herbert Crab here, being a little a little movement demon here, as he was not really attacking as much. Like he's getting off moves here, but he's trying to be more of like a movement demon. What I mean by that is he's just moving all over the place. You know, he's playing basically like Pikachu. He's just moving all over the place, not staying in one place. And that sends Pikachu off the board. And that means that Penn State Business is down one stock, meaning that Heidelberg is up by 1 here. As we'll see if Kerber Crab here for Penn State continues his movement or goes for a more offensive approach here, folks. But it looks like he's keeping the same playstyle as he's getting, frankly, the best way to describe it, he's getting juggled by Sam here. And he gets launched off the stage again? I mean, this is an interesting playstyle. I'm sure he's going to switch it up to a more aggressive form. Yeah, okay, so he's actually getting some attacks off now, which is good, instead of mostly dodging. But as we continue this on, it would seem that it seems that he actually got some hits off on Sam there. And it's continuing. And Pikachu goes for a bit of thunder there. Okay, there's just emoting right there, folks. Palatina goes for an attack. Oh, the Cure Crab hits off a nice attack, but is it too little, too late? Oh, Cure Crab actually getting off some decent hits with the lightning move. Maybe he was biding his time. Maybe he works better under pressure because Sam is actually at a low point right now. But maybe it was too little, too late. We'll see. And he makes the recovery back onto the edge. And Sam gives him a little wallop there. He's still going for the attack. Pikachu not playing as aggressively. And he pays the price for that. Ladies and gentlemen, the score is 9-6 with Penn State Business in deficit and Heidelberg in the lead. We will be right back, folks. Back here, ladies and gentlemen, and for those of you who don't know, we just saw Sam do a bit of, as a live stream coordinator just told me, a bit of Sam domination there was what we saw. And as we see Sam show here against Sleeper from Penn State We're just gonna say Penn State for now because I'm not gonna try and butcher their name here, folks. As we see Sleeper from Penn State playing as Mario here, and he's just playing a normal Mario. No Dr. Mario, no nothing, just normal Mario. And yes, there is a difference. I didn't realize there is. There's different Marios, so yeah. There's our heads up there. So if you see a Dr. Mario, it's not the same character. Sam here already, sorry, you blink, you'll miss it. Sam here already sending Sleeper to sleep there. And honestly, getting some good hits. You know, I thought Mario would have been like on the more aggressive side here, but Sam actually putting in some work here. Destroying that Mario, man. Ooh, turning that man into a question mark block the way he's hitting him, man. Ooh. Sleeper makes a return back on the edge, and Sleeper gets a small hit up there on Sam, but not enough as he gets smacked into the screen there, folks. Meaning that Mario is back in business, still getting walloped here, folks. Oh, gets him on the edge there. If Sam can hit another really solid, not even an explosive hit, just a really solid hit off, I think Sam can get Mario off pretty early, even though he's not on the high end of the red zone here. Ooh, goes for a Sleeper there, goes for Sam's shield. Okay, get some nice hits off there on Sam. Nothing too crazy. Sam goes for the shield block. Mario gets Sleeper gets a decent hit off there on Sam. Guiding his time, basically waiting for a bit of patience here. And as we see them go back and forth, and Sleeper there gets a nice slide hit there on Sam. And gets kind of pounded there, folks. Ooh, Sleeper actually getting some solid hits off on Sam here. They're very close now, folks. Sam launches Sleeper up. Sleeper makes the recovery there, but Sam launches him right back up again, making his recovery pointless. Ooh, and that will be game. Sleeper gets put to sleep as Sam takes this round for Heidelberg, making it 9-3, folks. We will be right back. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, and quick surprise here. We have La Vista for, I'm just gonna say Penn State, is playing as King K. Rool here, which I gotta say, I think I've, in my short shoutcasting career here, have only seen, I think, one other time, if I'm not mistaken, and that King K. Rool was actually pretty decent, putting on some good moves here. Excuse me. We'll see if that King K. Rool lives up to this one here. We might see a good performance here, because King K. Rool can be a monster in the right hands here. And for those of you at home who are like, ooh, what is King K. Rool? What is he from? If any of you've ever played Donkey Kong, or, you know, I don't know, if you've ever played Donkey Kong or the old games, you'll kind of recognize him. He's one of the villains, I guess. Country, yeah, he's from Donkey Kong Country. So if he's like, oh, he looks familiar, yeah, he's from the Donkey Kong games. That's why. As we see Sam here, honestly, that was an honest juggle. You know, I said he did a juggle earlier, but he was going at it there. Cable there, ooh, ties up the stock score there, as we finally, after a couple rounds, lose a stock score there. Instead of putting up an incredible fight to not lose a stock score, but it's bound to happen eventually. You have to get into some stiffer competition. But Sam is at 0 right now, as he's putting a pounding on K. Rool. Gentlemen, will K. Rool go out before Sam take damage? No, he's at 11. But still an impressive feat nonetheless, as, oh, he makes the recovery, but he gets sent right back out of the arena, folks. And oh, no! Sam loses a life there, I think maybe trying to get a hit off there on King K. Rool. But I don't think it was worth it there, Sam, but hey, it is what it is. King K. Rool is still pretty low here, so Sam has to play carefully as he knocks K. Rool out. Now it's a pretty even fight, because Sam lost a life that shouldn't be lost there, but it is what it is, folks. We'll see what Sam puts up here. Ooh, as he fights back against K. Rool after getting put in that cannon and launched here, folks. Ooh, Sam with the reflect! As he gets thrown out. You have to be careful there on the edge. A bit of edge guarding there for your money. Oh, as Sam gets buried there in the dirt. Recovers on the edge. K. Rool tries to get him there. Rolls away. Gets hit by the ground from the Vesta there. Like I said before, folks, K. Rool is a tough opponent. He's not gonna go down easily. If Sam can beat him, it'll be a work, because right now Sam is on the low end here. K. Rool is, like I said before, is a force to be reckoned with here, folks. You have to play your cards right when you're going up against a King K. Rool here. And unfortunately, Sam goes out. Ladies and gentlemen, the score is currently 6-1. Heidelberg still leading with Penn State Bismuth in 1. We'll be right back. welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. And we have the slime for Heidelberg here, trying here to put a end. Oh yeah. Sorry, folks. I forgot that King Gabriel has to lose his stock so it can even out to 1. That's was like, why is he standing there? And all right, the match is ready to begin here. We have Alex from Minecraft here, putting in some work only with wood here, folks. And it looks like Alex found gold? Question mark. But also got some iron there. Gonna try and get some better tools. Gets an iron sword there. Oh, looks like Alex may have found diamonds there, folks. As the slime hits him, but he has found diamonds. He hits him with a minecart. Still mining for more resources here. You can never have too much resources. As the King K. there gets slammed with the anvil and the lava block there. Ooh, going with the minecart blade and gets set off track. Ladies and gentlemen, Heidelberg will take this first round with a score of 6-0. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a exciting matchup here for you today. If you're just tuning in, Heidelberg won the first round with Sam Show putting on a clinic for the first couple rounds, and then the Slime finishing off there, getting us the win there for that round here, folks. As we have Alvarez as Kirby right now for Heidelberg there, and we have Carlos here for Penn State. We'll call him Penn State B for now, because for some reason I keep forgetting the name here, folks. So we'll say Penn State B, and we'll move on. And it seems that they're playing, from what I remember, to be Soar from Kingdom Hearts, if I'm not mistaken there. And as we see them already getting underway, Alvarez is putting on some great work here with Kirby. As we already see some nice bit of combos there from Alvarez to take some damage. Ooh, as he tries to get a thunder move off. Alvarez playing the aggressor here, going off hot, going, honestly, I wouldn't say guns blazing, but going on the attacking front here mostly. Not going from range, but going up close and personal to try and get some hard-hitting attacks off. As we see Kirby get frozen mid-air and get launched. Ooh. Oh, Alvarez there gets hit by a nice thunder and fire, but if Alvarez can get one hit off here, that will take off one stock, making it 11-10 there. Good work there by Alvarez to diminish their stock here and trying to go for more aggressive play. Alvarez only has one stock here in this first matchup here. Oh, as we see him, Alvarez get launched. Wait, it's not over yet, folks. Yes, we complete launch out. Can Alvarez make the recovery? Not quite. That would be the end of the first match here with Heidelberg in the loser seat here with 9 and Penn State B here with 11. We'll be right back, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here, folks, and we have an exciting match here. We have D-Dog here as Pyra and Mithra, and we have College there for Penn State here playing as Sora from Kingdom Hearts as we get this match under the way. And College there getting off the first the hit of the match. Ooh, Dalton there blocking the thunder, but also losing a lot of his shield there in the process, going for a really fast sword attack there. What I believe he's playing, I'm going to just say for the sake of things, I'll just say he's playing Pyra. It can go either way in the games, it all depends on who you choose. We'll just say he's playing Pyra right now. And, because, yeah, we'll just say for the sake he's playing Pyra, because Pyra is the one that has, for the folks at home, he's doing the faster attack. If you see them switch between two different forms, one of them allows him to do quicker attacks while the other allows him to do more heavier damage. As D-Dog there couldn't quite make the recovery, but he's okay in terms of stocks. As, ooh, that was a nice little block there from College from Penn State B here. As gives him a little speed move. Oh! D-Dog there with a nice hit there. Oh, as D-Dog there gets over there. Oh, and D-Dog goes. Okay, D-Dog went down there. Maybe he thought it would be better to have, you know, a less high percentage, so he went down. I don't know there, folks. Maybe D-Dog thinks it would be in his best interest. I'm not going to question his decision there, and we're just going to keep moving on as D-Dog switches to a heavy hitter, knowing that his enemy Sora here is in the red zone, knowing he needs to get off those big damage hits there, as he himself gets hit, dodges the fire, but gets hit by the rain of thunder. Switches, goes for the quick attacker here. Goes back to the heavy damage, missed the heavy damage attack, gets sent off the map here. Has a little fight, and unfortunately goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, the score is currently 6-11, with Heidelberg with 6 and Penn State B with 11. Folks, we will be right back. Here, folks, and we have for Heidelberg here, we have Klaus here playing as Min Min from the Nintendo Switch games ARMS, which I've actually played a bit of, and Min Min was a fan favorite, which is why out of all the ARMS characters, she got chosen here to be represented in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As you see, Klaus here already off to a great start, getting some good damage here on the Sora here. More of a long-range person, but can get up close and personal when necessary. But Klaus has seen, if he's been paying attention to the matches so far, he's seen what type of moves that Sora has been putting onto the others. He knows what he has to do. He's playing a more long-distance character. With that sword, has been doing some damage from long range as he takes off one life there. As we continue the fight here. And we see Claus not backing down, being a very aggressive fighter here. Honestly, putting in some good moves there. You know, I like this playstyle here, folks. He is putting on an aggressive show. He's not playing passive aggressive. He's just going for the attacks. And that will be game there, folks. Terrible gameplay by Claus here. Ladies and gentlemen, Heidelberg will take that match. It is still, the score is currently 6-9. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Folks, and they're sending out Pikachu there for Penn State B here, and we have Claus here as Min. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw him take out that last player there, as we have Pikachu with the party hat. Gerber Crab returning here for Penn State B. Sorry there, folks. As we see the match get underway with Claus actually putting on some decent damage there on Gerber Crab there. Ooh, Gerber Crab there with the quick movement, which might actually screw him over. And what did I say there, folks? The quick movement, don't get me wrong, it's good, but I've learned from playing Pikachu myself, I'm bad at Smash, but one of the things I've learned, whether you're good or bad, if you misclick with his like quick dash move, it can get you out of the match. No matter how good you are, if you misclick with that move, it can ruin your game. So you gotta be careful when you make those type of moves with Pikachu. As we see Claus there with Behrend, honestly putting on some sizable work as Pikachu gets sent out of the arena there, folks. As Claus is only, yeah, at 46% there. Pikachu yet to do a sizable amount of damage, similar to the match with what I believe was Sam? I could be wrong, but he's just making a lot of quick moves, not necessarily going for the attack, but when he's on his last stock, it seems to where he puts on the most work there. So we may see an increase in fighting here and a more aggressive play style as he whittles down his last stock there. That's where we see his most intense gameplay there, sorry. As he gets sent off! And he is gone there, folks. Making it a score of 6-6 there. Tying it with, tying the Berg with Penn State B. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Welcome back here, folks. And this, well, like my live stream coordinator said, this should be an interesting one here. We have Plus here for Heidelberg, and for Penn State, we have Sleeper playing as Mario. And, well, as this match gets underway, we have Super Mario. We have the Mario Man himself versus Min here. Go with the arms versus the man with the mushroom plan. As he gets knocked out of the arena here with, wow, Ross only at 9. That was a quick one there, folks. I'm not gonna lie. But as I discovered recently, and probably as suspected as of recently, Min is a heavy hitter, so Mario is gonna have a tough time here, but it's not impossible for Sleeper to maybe get one off here on Klaus. But I'm on the side of Heidelberg here, so I'm hoping he gets absolutely none here. I'll be honest, I'm biased. As he cannot make the ledge recovery there, making him lose a lot of stock. Currently with 4, the current score is 6-4 with Heidelberg with 6 and Penn State B with 4. And in the total of the rounds in general, Berg leads 1-0. I'll just see more action as Klaus is putting some good work on that Mario. Oh, as he gets into the double-digit range, or triple-digit range. My bad there, folks. I misread the score there. As you see Klaus make the ledge recovery, And the sleeper there trying to go for attacking the ledge, doesn't quite get it off. Kyle's managed to make the recovery. Mario goes for a nice slide, fails to get him at the edge, gets sent off. Ladies and gentlemen, the score is currently 6-3 with Heidelberg in the lead by 3. Folks, we will be right back with this next match. And welcome back here, folks, and what I'm hoping to be the last match, we'll see, as if you remember from last match, what caused Heidelberg some trouble and what DS Slime had to finish off was the King K rule here. As we see calls for Heidelberg here against Penn State Beast. They haven't updated the name there, so it still shows Sleeper. But we'll continue this matchup either way here, folks. As Lavesta is, for Penn State B, playing as King K rule there. And Claus playing a good match here. Kind of playing his own, as he's already got Lavesta at triple digits here. So Claus has to play his cards right. He can get the King K rule out of here. He just has to watch his play here. As we see him get King K rule tries to go for the con and the cannonball, but Claus knows what he's going after and gets a really aptly timed block there, folks. You can feel the intensity, folks, as you can hear that intense music going on in the background. Oh, and he makes the recovery there. I thought he was fall, but no, he gets his little propeller hat and he makes his return onto the stage. Oh, as you see, Kaz here get the uppercut treatment. The King K rule tries to go for another counter play, gets uppercutted into the screen there, folks. Oh. He also gets the up air smash treatment straight out of there. As we continue on our play here, folks. Oh, as the King K roll goes down, another shot here. as we see a kind of ricochet reflect type of situation happen here. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be game. Yeah, Heidelberg takes it. The score is 2-0, so Heidelberg takes that. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and like I said earlier, I didn't know if we'll be back or not, but we are back. We have D-Dog Dalton here, and yeah, say hi, Dalton. And
what's up?
Yeah, see, and we're here to talk about Smash. Dalton, how do you think your performance was in that match?
The first game I did all right against the Corrin. You know, getting them down to one stock. Close game as it possibly could have got into, to be honest. And then Sora, he was just annoying with the counters, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'll ask a general question. Kind of, what was the general team mindset going into this match?
Having fun, honestly. We weren't too worried about this game, honestly.
Okay. That's fair. And I gotta ask, and this will be my last question. What has been, because I know we're a good bit into the season now, to my
Yeah.
knowledge. So what has been, I guess, your favorite match you've gotten to play so far?
Tiffin. I love Tiffin, even though we didn't get to stream it. I love playing in person, and it does make a difference, and it's just fun playing in person and getting to see who you're playing against.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yep.
Dalton. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for tonight.
We got Valorant tomorrow.
Yeah, Valorant tomorrow, which I will probably be. There's a good chance I
Yeah.
probably will be here with either Colton
Noah.
or Noah. I'm assuming it's gonna be Noah, so we'll see because that man's not feeling good. But ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, thank you for tuning in here tonight, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.